welcome in Rob Williams, the national sports editor of the Daily Hive and its offside sports vehicle. Offside sports vertical. Talking about vehicles. Vertical.
They've got an off-road vehicle?
Daily Hive is an empire worldwide.
Is Rob booting around down in the cyber truck?
You let us know what the engineers at Daily Hive have come up with. That was a spicy week on social between Vancouver and Edmonton, Rob.
Oh, man. My Twitter mentions are just a tire fire. Like Oilers fans all week. I spent this week just trying to understand Edmonton. Like, they were so mad, so furious. And I really was just trying to understand why they were so mad.
What conclusions did you draw?
Well, okay, yeah. I mean, it was just sort of like this wild ride where you can kind of see like the narrative shift and everyone going towards it. So it started with, obviously they're upset with what happened with, at the end of the game on Saturday. And the first narrative was, okay, McDavid's going to get suspended, but Myers was worse. Like, they needed everyone to know that the Myers one was worse because McDavid was mad and Myers wasn't mad. And then I heard some other people try to say that Garland got McDavid in the helmet, or it was just a wild, just leaping to, like, I don't know, these logical leaps. I'm surprised Edmonton wasn't out of, didn't miss the game because of a lower body injury. It was a wild ride where it was like they were acting as if McDavid had been cross-checked in the face. I almost wondered, like, poor Evan Bouchard. Like, nobody seemed to care that he got cross-checked in the face. In Edmonton, they were more worried about McDavid getting tackled and held by Connor Garland. And it was a whole wild ride of this. And I feel like the most hilarious part was yesterday. Then Edmonton yesterday got really angry that Vancouver was suggesting that Connor Garland was public enemy number one. And they were going, Edmonton does not care about Garland. They only care about the NHL. And I was like, okay, well, watch if they boo him tonight. Of course they booed him. Of course. Anyways, what great theater. It's been a while since we've had like a rivalry to really sink our teeth into. Just wish the Canucks could hold up their end of the bargain a bit more here, because what a clunker in Edmonton. Man.
Well,
it feels like we're right back to like pre-last year now. It's just gone off so far off the rails.
Well, we'll talk more about the on-ice product here in a sec, but you had me and then you lost me for a sec when you said the most hilarious part was you didn't even mention the statement on Tuesday.
The statement, Rob.
Fair point. The statement was chef's kiss.
Yes.
Yeah, it was like, again, it was like I had to remind people, like, guys, McDavid didn't get cross-checked in the face. He cross-checked someone else in the face. I mean, from where I sat, it was like, look, the Garland tackle and all that stuff was a very smart play. Even if the ref had called a penalty, like, Garland wasn't doing that knowing that the refs weren't going to call a penalty. Garland was doing that thinking that the refs were going to call a penalty, right? And it was
more than happy to take one in that situation.
Anyways.
He copped to it post game on Saturday too. Like he said, it's the best player in the world. Like, I thought I would basically just drag him down. Like, he wasn't trying to hide behind anything. He was like, I did it. Yes, I did.
Maybe the honesty was part of the problem here, Jeff.
Maybe.
That hockey code told that he should shroud it. I don't know. I have to see it on video.
I wanted to live in a parallel universe this week, guys. And look, if the Canucks were playing a little bit better and there wasn't as much noise and heat around them, like, I wanted to see them lean into it where, Connor Garland posts a video wishing Connor McDavid a speedy recovery from something, whatever. Like, in a different time, I think that these two could have had some fun with it. Canucks aren't much fun right now. Rick Tocchet said as much post-game. But, like, I would love to have seen the Canucks at the home game against Buffalo have some sort of, like, a book of condolences that fans could have signed outside section 104 and that they could have hand-delivered to Connor McDavid when they went to Edmonton on Thursday night. But, alas, we don't live in that world.
That's pretty good. You should run marketing for an NHL team or two.
Guys, I actually think that's the problem right now is that Edmonton got angry about this and used it as fuel to really come out of the gates strong on Thursday. And this Canucks team, they're not united. They have no fight in them. They've got nothing to rally behind. They couldn't. In no world could they use this to really get behind, and it really shows. Like that's to me, that's the X factor right now, where they don't have that juice because they're not a team right now. They're just a collection of guys.
You just hit it, Rob. That is absolutely it. You knew if you were the Vancouver Canucks that they were coming out to settle a couple of scores, right? The scoreboard and the McDavid injustice, if you will.
Perceived.
Yeah, exactly. So it was plain as day. I mean, Coach Tocchet yesterday morning talking about these are the games you want to play in. These are the games with the intensity and emotion. Nobody wants to play in the no-hitter, playing out the string April games. And yet still no response. And we've seen this throughout the season in a number of games where you thought the emotions would get going. There'd be a little bit of juice. Dakota Joshua coming back from cancer surgery. Thatcher Demko coming back from 2 months off. Besser coming back from the concussion. Lekramaki scoring as a young player. Okay, let's build up the nothing seems to get the emotions stirred for the Vancouver Canucks right now. Are you beginning to think that this just could be a lost playoff-less season?
I mean, it's kind of a turtle derby right now for that last spot, right? So they're not that far off, but I mean, maybe they squeak in and get the last playoff spot. I can see it. I could see them doing it because they, based on talent, they should.
And draw Winnipeg. Yay!
Exactly, right? But to what end here? This team they're not a team. They are, the room's divided. They got to fix the room. I think everyone knows that. Like they've got to fix the room. There's a bunch of things they need to do they need to subtract to move forward in a lot of ways. The big question is, what do you get for your guys right now? Like JT Miller, I mean, that's the first one, right? Do you accept whatever you get for Miller right now, and then you can kind of finally move forward? Or are you accepting pennies on the dollar? And are you probably, and I think they probably are better off if in a Miller trade, like in a vacuum, by probably waiting till the end of the season, dealing him then when teams have more flexibility to fit in a big contract. You've also got teams that maybe have missed the playoffs and want to do something big, or you've got a new general manager somewhere. It's a lot of things that can change. I think that's probably the way that you get a better return on Miller. But if you do that, you're kind of punting on this season, are you? Like,
yeah.
And what damage do you do to your room and just to your organization by having this fester for 4 more months? So I think that's the big question right now. What do you do with those kinds of things? Do you sell low on Höglander? Just punt, right? Just get what you get. I don't know what you do right now, but I do think that trying to salvage this season, I don't think that should be your number one goal. I think you've got to be thinking a year, 2 years down the line. I can't believe I'm saying that. I feel like we're right back to where we were like a couple of years ago, but I think that's reality at this point.
Yeah, that's the big picture. Another big picture question that we're asking on the Surrey Mitsubishi poll question. Because remember, we went into the season talking about Vancouver, Edmonton, right? And, how do you get over them? And roster's incomplete, but they're going to make big moves because they always do. Rob, do you see the Canucks getting past Connor McDavid's Oilers? Is it going to be a situation like in the 80s where you just have to wait for Gretzky and Messier et al. To move on before you see a pathway through Edmonton?
No, they can get through Edmonton. I mean, Edmonton, how many cups have they won? It's been a while, and not since 1990. So Edmonton's a great team. Vegas is also a very strong team in their division. I don't think that you're in a spot where you go, oh, you can't get by these teams. I don't think they're in that situation at all. I just think they're in a situation where they've got to rethink the plan, because I think the city of Vancouver is sick of this core, and it's crazy because people kind of fell in love with them last year, and it's just like, I mean, how many people are just at the point now where like trade Miller and Pettersson? Like they're just so sick of it, right?
And throw in a few others while you're at it, right?
Yeah, but something needs to change, right? Like this group is just it's not it. I mean, you've got Hughes to build around. I'd like to see what Demko looks like next season. I think this is going to be a tough year for him. It was always going to be. Is that knee something that will? I mean, hopefully he can recover from that and be back to 100% health and play like the Demko that we've seen in the past. I think you got more hope that he can do that next season, and so long as he doesn't suffer another injury. Beyond that, though, like how many years do you want to commit to with Besser? Like Pettersson, it's been almost a calendar year of him playing like a mediocre second line center. Like,
if that,
it's been a long time for some of these guys. They've got a lot of things to fix, a lot of things to clean up. And I think, but above all, like your room needs to be good. Like that's the X factor here, is that if your room is divided, if your room is messed up, if you're not all pulling on the rope in the same direction, a lot of ways it doesn't matter how much talent you have on your team, you're not going to go very far.
So Patrick Allvin comes out Monday and spoke for 20 minutes, didn't really say much, but as you've parsed through what the general manager, and look, we don't hear from him very often, was there anything in there that he did say that stuck out, or anything that he didn't say that you wanted him to say on Monday afternoon?
There's a lot he didn't say. I mean, Patrick Allvin is the king of saying a lot of words without really saying much. I think if you read between the lines, though, on a lot of what he's saying, like, they're not happy with this group either. And I think everyone knows that, it's no secret that they're trying to trade JT Miller. So he didn't really come out and really throw support in any direction. Maybe with the exception of Rick Tocchet, he did give Tocchet a vote of confidence. I know the fan base is a little bit divided on Tocchet in this moment, and I know there's people talking about the system. Is that to blame, or too many point shots, or what have you? I think this management group is still right behind Tocchet. I think they're going to, shuffle the deck on the roster that he has and give him a new look to move forward with. So if anyone's waiting for Tocchet to be fired, I'd be pretty surprised if he's not behind the bench next season.
Yeah, I'm with you there, Rob. I think things would have to get precipitously worse from here for them to actively change coaches. Now, off season is another matter here. If I asked Jeff this in the opening block, what's their bigger problem right now? Elias's lack of production, or JT's lack of value or suitors on the trade market? Those are both pretty significant problems.
Oh God, they're so
now, and it has more people, and we've seen this pick up now the last couple of days. And let's remember, it's always been on parallel tracks. They have been willing to listen on Elias as well. And if Elias delivers value where JT can't, given what you're seeing from him on a night-to-night basis now, you tell me, buddy.
I mean, I wonder what the rest of the room thinks about JT and Pettersson in terms of like, they can't get along with each other, but like, is the whole room just kind of like fed up with these two as well? What's the bigger problem? Probably, I mean, they're probably, to be honest, probably Pettersson. I mean, they need, if let's say they trade Miller, they get a decent return for him. All right, they need Pettersson to be a number one center. Like, and he has not been that in a while. Like, can the longer this goes, you start to wonder, like, okay, like, is he that guy? I mean, I think he probably is, but are there other issues that are gonna like preclude him from becoming the player that we all thought he could be? Yeah, that's becoming really concerning because like I'm not buying the knee tendonitis or whatever. Like it doesn't seem to be like an injury related thing. I just don't know what it is with Pettersson. Right now, it's such a mess. It's such a mess, guys.
No,
I
really
honestly I can't believe that we're back here again. Like it's just I wasn't that bullish on the team coming into the season. Like I thought there was a chance they would take a step back, but I didn't think it would blow up so spectacularly like this. Like this is kind of reminding me of like the Torts year almost, like where everything, like the wheels fall off in January and they just it's speeding out of control. And that year it was Luongo that got traded, and this year it looks like it's probably Miller, but yeah, I just can't believe that we're back in this spot.
No,
now,
I know.
Wait a second here. And because I agree with you on the Torts here, but Rob, you could be explaining a lot of Januaries from about 2014 through 2023. It was Willie D. It was Travis Green. It was Bruce Boudreau. There were just way too many seasons in there where you're right. We got to January and season had been flushed. So I'm with you. It feels like we're at the end of the Willie D era, the end of the Travis Green era, the end of the Bruce Boudreau era. It really does feel like we have been transported back in time right now.
The Canucks would be fine if it wasn't for January and October. Those two cursed months. Well, I guess April and May is...
Don't fare so well in June either,
fair
Matt.
point. Yeah, no, exactly. June hasn't been kind to them. Fair point, J-Pat. It's not just one January. It's been a multitude of them over the years. Rob, outstanding stuff. Thank you for this week, and we will for moving dates this week, and we'll catch up.
Let's see what next week brings.
Yeah, exactly. We'll talk to you on Thursday.
Buckle up.